Students, welcome to NDA Academy. In today's session, we will be discussing about several questions that have appeared in the NDA CDS I exam 2026. Exam study open है. The paper was moderate to difficult for the particular side because the amount of statement-based questions and like ultra high order thinking questions have increased in the paper this time. And I would like to tell the students that please don't panic. Panic आप इसलिए मत करिए because अगर पेपर आपके लिए difficult है तो सबके लिए difficult है. It has been a harder paper overall, and that will surely push the cutoff down for all the candidates. Okay. So this time, what we have taught, approximately 50 questions from GS have come in common in the NDA CDS I paper of 2026. We will be having a discussion and a look at the questions and what their possible solutions for the paper are. Alright, let us go one by one. If we look at this question, consider the following statements regarding matter. Elements cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Alright? Yes, they cannot be. Elements cannot be broken down into simpler substances. A compound is variable composition and can be broken down into elements. Yes, surely. 1 and 2 are correct. The solution of sulfur in carbon disulfide is an example of a homogeneous mixture. Now what they are asking is that which of the following is not correct. See, 1 and 2 are surely correct options. Alright, 1 and 2 are surely correct options. So wherever you have 1 and 2, it cannot be an incorrect option. The only incorrect option that comes along is option C, 0. Then comes match the following. Alright. Then answer which of the chemical formula is not correctly matched. Now here, if you look, option C, baking powder, NaHCl2 is not a correctly matched option. That is not the formula of baking powder. Rest, all of them are correct. See, these questions have been thoroughly discussed in the class, and these topics have been discussed in the class at a very conceptual level. So I believe that for the students, it should have been a very easy job to answer these questions. Yes, this time the paper was tough. The number of common questions I would say was little less than the last time, but still these questions are like brownie points to add to the marks that you get to clearly cover. Now coming to the next question, consider the following statements. All bases are alkalis. Bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. An alkali is soapy to touch, bitter and corrosive. Addition of water to an alkali generates heat. Now look here, option 1 is certainly wrong because all bases are not soluble in water. Only those bases that are soluble in water are called alkalis. It's a short statement we say in this subject that all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. So 1 is wrong. If 1 is wrong, then A and C are automatically eliminated. Okay? Now 2 and 3 are correct. 2 and 3 are correct. Because yes, bases that dissolve in water are called alkalis, and alkalis are surely soapy to touch because they are bases. They are also bitter and they are corrosive. So 2 and 3 are correct. Okay? And 1 is wrong. So there is only one option which has 2 and 3, and it does not have 1. The correct option is option B, 2, 3, and 4. Coming to the next question, then what does the second law of motion actually talk about? It's Newton's second law of motion. Is it? Newton's second law of motion says that F is equal to mass into acceleration. Now mass is a constant quantity. Mass is a constant quantity. If I remove mass from the equation, then the equation becomes F proportional to E, which means the acceleration that is being generated in a body, the acceleration in body will generate more higher, that is directly proportional to the force. आप जितना ज़्यादा force दोगे, acceleration body में उतना ही ज़्यादा पैदा होगा. ये equation आया कैसे? अगर आप न्यूटन की second law की equation को दोगे और मास को एक constant variable, एक constant quantity है वो change नहीं होगा. अगर आप constant को हटा दोगे तो equal to sign automatically change होगे, proportional sign बन जाएगा. This is a simple law of mathematics, and this has been discussed in the class. So the correct option for this is option C. The rate of creative acceleration of the body is directly proportional to the applied force. Now, coming to the next question, an object is placed at a distance of 15 cm in front of a curving mirror with a radius of curvature of 20 centimeters. Now, which one of the among the following statements is correct for the image form? Alright. Now they have said that the radius of curvature is 20 centimeters. Now if the radius of curvature C is 20, then the focal length will be half of 20, which is 10. And they have given the observed distance 15 centimeters. Right? So what do you do here? We just simply apply the Taylor formula. 1 by m is equal to 1 by q plus 1 by v. Alright, just simply apply the Taylor formula and we put the values of f and v. Just simply put the Taylor formula 1 by f is equal to 1 by u plus 1 by v. So if you look at the formula here, it says that the object is placed on the front of a concave mirror, in front as it is, on this side. This is the object is placed. Now since the object is on the left side, as it has been already discussed in the class, because of that the object distance will be taken in negative. So we will write it as 1 by 10 is equal to 1 by minus 15 plus 1 by v. If we solve this question, we will get the value of v as 30 centimeters. Now, if you look at this question carefully, the object is placed beyond the focal length. The object is at 50 centimeters, the focal length is 50 centimeters. In this case, images are as the images are not on the same side of the mirror. They are not formed on the opposite side of the mirror. So the image is formed on the same side of the mirror. And hence, the answer will be the image is 30 centimeters from the mirror and on the same side as the object. Answer is option. Now coming to the next question. That which among the following statements regarding the resistivity of a conducting wire is correct? Now try to understand that resistance and resistivity are totally two different things. Resistance is not a constant. If we increase the length, if we change the cross-sectional area, whether we increase or decrease it, if we change the temperature, the resistance will vary. But resistance totally depends on the material of the item. Okay? Resistance for copper wire is same for all copper wire because all of them are big. So whether the length is higher, whether the length is shorter, the sectional area is higher or shorter does not matter. As long as you are keeping the material same, the resistivity will not change. The resistivity only depends on the material of the object. Because then the correct answer is option C. The resistivity of the conductor remains the same if the length of the wire changes. The next question. Look at the following statements. If the particles of a medium move along the direction of motion of the wave is called a longitudinal wave. Now, as we know, there are two types of waves, longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Now, the difference is that in a longitudinal wave, the movement of the waves and the vibration of the particles are parallel to each other. They are in the same direction. And because of that, we can say that option statement 1 is correct. In transverse wave, the direction or angle between the vibration and the movement of the wave is perpendicular, which means that it is 90 degrees. Option 2 says if the particles of a medium move perpendicular to the direction of motion of the wave is called a transverse wave. Yes, 1 and 2 are completely correct. Transverse waves may involve change in the state of the medium, whereas longitudinal waves involve change in the density of the medium. This is not entirely correct. So what we can say here is that 1 and 2 are the correct statements. Coming to the next question, which one of the following items comprises the major portion of the revenue expenditure in the budget 2025-26 of the Union Government of India? We have discussed the budget in the class. There has also been a separate live session and video on our YouTube channel regarding the union budget of this year. Now, looking at the options, pension, interest payments, road transportation highways, and defense. The correct answer for this question is interest payments. Alright, because defense services, although it has a higher budget, it is more like a capital investment, not a revenue investment. Why? Because whatever you are getting as weapons or infrastructure for defense, it's a long term. It's not a short term recurring or running. Because of which we cannot put this under revenue expenditure. So revenue expenditure, the highest this year, has been in interest payments. Coming to the next question. Coming to the next question. The statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. The statement was yes, PMFBY provides risk insurance to farmers against crop damage due to non-favorable actions. Yes, that is correct. Fasal Bima Yojana, the word itself means insurance for crops. Now it gives insurance to farmers in case their crops get destroyed by droughts or pest invasions because of any kind of unwanted weather conditions or disasters like earthquake or floods or landslides. So one is correct. Now PMFBY provides risk coverage of 2 lakhs in case of the death of insured. There is no such clause in Fasal Bima Yojana. The insured person is that person died because the insurance is on crops. The insurance is not on the person who is insured. So 2 is wrong. 3 PMFBY ensures flow of credit to the agricultural sector. Yes, because whatever credit is happening here is happening to the farmers, is happening in the agricultural sector. Is correct? Then PMFBY provides this coverage of 2 lakhs for income for complete disability of away. There is no insurance on the insured person. Whether the person is dead or whether the person is disabled or not, there is no such clause for it. 4 is wrong. The correct option here is option C, 1 and 3. The next question, the central cytoplasmic region of prokaryotic cell containing nucleic acids is called what? Prokaryotes, as we know, as it has been discussed in the class, prokaryotes lack nuclear membrane. Because of that, they do not have a well-defined nucleus. So that center region where all the genetic material are entangled and kept in a concentrated manner, that region is known as a nucleoid. The correct option for this is option B, nucleoid. Next, in humans, which chamber of the heart receives oxygen-rich blood from the liver? Now, listen to this. We have the atria and the ventricles. Ventricles are the lower chambers, atria are the upper chambers. When the heart receives blood, the receiving happens in the upper chambers. And when it is both of the heart, going out happens to the lower chambers. Now, we are talking about receiving the blood. If they are receiving the blood, then option C and D ventricles are automatically eliminated. Alright? So what we have is left atria and right atria. Is it? Now, and the question is asking for oxygen rich blood. So the correct answer that we arrive to is option A, left atria. The next question again, a very easy question. And it was one of the first topics that was discussed in class. Alright. It talks about certain cell organisms, and after now, and it talks about certain cell organisms and the functions that they undergo in the cell. Mitochondria. We all know mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It is responsible for the cellular respiration, which happens for the production of ATP. Alright? So A is 4. Alright? If A is 4, it means our answer is either A or B. Now statement B is cytoskeleton. साइटोस्केलेटन का काम क्या होता है? साइटोस्केलेटन का काम, स्केलेटन का काम क्या होता है? स्केलेटन that we have as humans as a whole. The skeleton gives a shape to our body. It gives a frame to our body. Now, cytoskeleton helps in maintaining the shape of the cell. So B is what? Now 4 is 2, B is 1. There is only one option that should be. It is option B. So C becomes statement 2. Smooth air helps in detoxification in the liver cells. And D vacuoles, it is used for storage. Because vacuoles are large storage spaces. Vacuoles also take up a lot of space inside this. So the correct option is option B. A4, B1, C2, B3. Coming to the next question, which one among the following statements regarding the fundamental rights of the Constitution of India is not correct? Option A, they provide for equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Yes, it is written in Article 16. Article 16 is totally regarding equality of opportunity. That in public employment, in government jobs, everybody should be given equal opportunities. Is not an incorrect option. They guarantee freedom of conscience and free profession, practice, and propagation of belief. Yes, these things come under the right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28. So option B is correct too. C. They prohibit discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, and caste only. No. The discrimination that they prohibit is not just on the basis of religion, race, and caste. They prohibit discrimination on the basis of gender also, on the basis of place of birth also, and there are many other grounds. So C is the incorrect option. And D is of course correct. They are legally enforced. You can go to the Supreme Court under Article 32 to ask for a writ jurisdiction of the Supreme Court if your fundamental rights are violated. So the only not correct option is option C. Coming to the next question, consider the following statements regarding Article 368, Amendment of the Constitution. Statement 1 says, Constitutional Amendment bills can be introduced in either houses of the Parliament. Yes, they can be introduced in the Rajya Sabha also. Statement 2, Constitutional Amendment bills should be passed to each house by a majority of the total members of that house and the majority of not less than 2/3 of the members voting and present. Yes, under Article 368, if you are doing any kind of amendment, ये तो आप सबको पता है, amendment करने के लिए special majority चाहिए होता है. Special majority is 2/3 of members present and voting. Statement टू क्या आपका correct जाता है. Statement 3 कहता है all amendment bills must be ratified by the legislature of not less than 1/2 of the states. देखिए, अगर कोई amendment ऐसा बन रहा है जो states को affect करेगा, जैसे जब जीएसटी लाया गया था, जब टैक्सेस को अमेंड किया गया था, जीएसटी एक ऐसा चीज है जो स्टेट के टैक्स शेयरिंग को अफेक्ट करता है. तो अगर कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट ऐसा है जो स्टेट्स को अफेक्ट करेगा, तो इंडिया के फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर को अफेक्ट करेगा, तभी जाके आपको मोर देन हाफ ऑफ द स्टेट्स का रेटिफिकेशन चाहिए होता है. ठीक है, अदरवाइज देयर इज नो नीड फॉर एनी रेटिफिकेशन. सो ऑप्शन सी व्हिच सेज दैट ऑल बिल्स नीड द रेटिफिकेशन, statement C is completely wrong. The correct option is statement 1 and 2 only, option A. Which one among the following items is not included in the state list of the Constitution of India? Alright, public order, economic and social planning, land, and local government. Now here, land, local government, these are all included. Local government का तो power ही आपके state से आता है. अब लोकल गवर्नमेंट स्टेट से आता है. अगर आप देखोगे इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल प्लानिंग, देखिए इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग का एक बहुत ही बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट सा कंपोनेंट होता है द बजट. अब बजट एक ऐसा चीज है जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी यूनियन लेवल पे बनाती है और बजट एक ऐसा चीज है जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी अपने लेवल पे बनाती है. You see every year states also have their state budget and the central government also has the union budget. So economic planning एक ऐसा चीज है जो दोनों कर सकते हैं and that is why economic and social planning are present in the concurrent list. एक ऐसा लिस्ट जिसपे laws both central government and the state government can make. So option B, economic planning, is the correct answer. It is not a part of the state list. It is part of the concurrent list. Then यहाँ पे specific provisions का जो article है 371 उसके 4 options दिए हुए हैं और पूछा है कि which of these is not correctly matched. Now the correct answer here is option D, article 371. article 371 में आंध्र प्रदेश के लिए बना था बट यहाँ पे आपको ऑप्शन में सिक्किम दिख रहा है. सिक्किम के लिए आर्टिकल 371 भी नहीं है. सो द इनकरेक्ट और इनकरेक्टली मैच्ड ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन डी. Coming to the next question, which of the following statements about the governor of the state are correct? The governor has the power to appoint the advocate general. ठीक है. Advocate general holds power during the pleasure of the governor. The members of the state. Now the members of the SPS, the state के public service commission होता है, those members are appointed by the government. That is correct. ठीक है. Even the members of the SPSC, they can be removed by the president, not by the governor, but the removal is done on the report of the governor. ठीक है. Now, अब आपके पास रहता है कि advocate general. The governor has the power to appoint the advocate general. Advocate general holds the office during the pleasure of the governor. Alright. So now these two are correct because जो attorney general होता है, attorney general का अपॉइंटमेंट का रिमूवल प्रेसिडेंट करता है सेंट्रल लेवल. एडवोकेट जनरल स्टेट का हाईएस्ट लॉ ऑफिसर होता है. एडवोकेट जनरल का अपॉइंटमेंट का रिमूवल इज डन बाय द गवर्नर ऑफ द स्टेट. नॉट व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर. See, the correct answer is actually option 4 because the report जाता है प्रेसिडेंट को, it is not directly that the governor is involved. The report is actually submitted by the chief minister and his council of ministers. Governor के through the report goes to the president of India. So यहाँ पे actually option में बोला है on the report of the governor. So governor का direct involvement नहीं है. Governor is just acting like a middleman between the president and the CM and his council of ministers. So the correct answer is option 4. Option 4 is not correct. Alright, option 4 is not correct. Which are the correct options? 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option D. 1, 2 and 3 only. Coming to the next question, that if X is the number of electrons, okay, and Y present in a sulfur 2 minus. Sulfur 2 minus is 2 minus means that it has 2 extra electrons. Okay, then which of the following is correct? See, sulfur usually has 60 electrons. Now, if sulfur is actually 2 minus, that means sulfur has 2 extra electrons. Now, what does that mean? 2 extra electrons means that means total sulfur is actually 60 plus 2, 18 electrons. So the value of X becomes 80 and the value of Y is 32, the mass number. Alright? So, the correct answer is option C, X equal to 80 and Y equal to 30. Coming to the next question, 1.7 grams of silver nitrate is dissolved in 100 grams of water and 0.585 grams of sodium chloride as it is dissolved in 100 grams of water. Both are mixed and a chemical reaction occurs. 1.435 grams of sodium chloride and 0.85 grams of sodium nitrate are formed. Which of the following is shown by here? If you look here carefully, you will notice that the total mass that was there before the reaction is same as the total mass which is there after the reaction. Now, what actually It means कि जो total mass शुरू में था और जो total mass बाद में है, the total mass is same. हाँ, maybe the combination has differed. The combination has changed. Sodium chloride का sodium nitrate बन चुका है, silver nitrate का silver chloride बन चुका है. ठीक है? The law that applies here is the law of conservation of mass, which means that the total mass involved before the reaction is always total mass after the reaction is complete. Now here we are asking, this has been very times discussed in class, very much on a very regular basis कि actually reduction or oxidation होता क्या है, and how do you identify reductants and oxidants. If you see here, iron, alright, iron plus HCl gives AgCl and AC. Alright, so is iron undergoing reduction? Is iron causing reduction? Is iron causing reduction in the reaction? Yes, iron does cause reduction in the reaction. Alright, because iron is taking away the chlorine. ठीक है, इसे H अकेला बचा है. ठीक है, now it is become H3. So whenever there is an addition of hydrogen, we know that that reaction is known as reduction. Since iron is taking away this Cl, the chlorine group, and because of that, the H is left with another extra hydrogen now. That is why iron is a reduction. Coming to the second one, look here, CuSO4. Copper had 4 oxygens. Now after the reaction, the oxygen has been removed from copper. What does this mean? Copper has lost oxygen. If copper is losing oxygen, that means that the copper is undergoing reduction. So this is copper is reduced. Now if you look here, it says bromine is reduced. See, addition of oxidation, addition of electron is oxidation, removal of an electron is called reduction. Now if you look here, bromine is gaining an electron. Okay? And what do we know? That reducing agents or reductants, they themselves undergo oxidation to reduce somebody else. So what is happening? Bromine is gaining an electron. So gain of electron means bromine is itself undergoing oxidation. And that iodine is reducing that. Okay? Coming to the next question, that CH4 plus 2O2. Okay, they are saying that C atom in CH4 is oxidation. See, the CH4 has hydrogen, the C lost the hydrogen, and then C gained oxygen. C. So C is getting oxidation. Option 4 is correct. Okay? But if you look at option 1, in fact, actually, if you look at statement 1, if you see, iron is not necessarily acting as a reductant. Why? Because दो is already है यहाँ पे, वो दो चल रहा है. Iron का hydrogen लेके भी नहीं जा रहा है. Iron इसको oxygen दे ही नहीं रहा. So iron is not acting as a reductant. The correct option is option B, 2, 3, and 4. ठीक है? Look at the next question. Which of the following properties of alveoli is or are helpful in gaseous exchange during respiration in human beings? See, the epithelial lining of alveoli is very thin. Yes, it's very thin. Elastic fibers are present in the alveolar wall. Yes, there are, because होता क्या है, जब हवा अंदर जाता है तो alveoli को बड़ा और छोटा होना पड़ता है. Fibers अगर elastic नहीं होंगे तो वो contraction expansion होते alveoli फट जाए. That is why yes, elastic fibers are there. And the wall of the alveoli is surrounded by many blood capillaries. This is also correct. Why? Because वो जो blood capillaries होती है, उसी blood capillaries से carbon dioxide निकल के alveoli में आ जाता है. Alveoli का oxygen blood capillary के अंदर होता है. So the correct answer is option D, 1, 2, and 3. Because all three of them are correct. Then If using without proper class, then is regarded as dead. We have four options: colon time, parent time, silent time, and silent parent. Now here the correct option is silent time. Why? Because it does not have a protoplasm, and they are also known as dead. Then coming to the next question, which of the following volumes that human class is the lowest? This question thoroughly discussed in the class many times. Even with the values for a normal human. Okay? If you look at the answer here, okay, the answer is residual volume. Now, what does residual volume mean? Residual volume means that if you are inhaling a lot of air and after that you are exhaling, so exhalation के बाद जो थोड़ा बहुत lungs में हवा बच जाता है, मान लीजिए आपने inhale किया, आप inhale करने के बाद body पूरे हवा को निकाल नहीं देते, थोड़ा सा हवा आपके lungs में रह जाता है. So whatever residual air is there, थोड़ा सा हवा, that's one of the residual volume. Residual volume is the correct answer. क्योंकि residual volume हमेशा inspiratory volume से भी कम होता है, expiratory volume से भी कम होता है. It is the lowest amount. Coming to the next question, which one of the following bars guards the opening between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery? ठीक है, तो होता क्या है कि जो पल्मोनरी आर्टरी होता है, ठीक है, पल्मोनरी आर्टरी आपके ब्लड को लेकर लंग्स तक जाए, ठीक है. सो व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर हियर? द करेक्ट आंसर is this semi-lunar? Because पार्ट और फ्लैट होता है, वो होता है आपका लेफ्ट एंटीरियर वेंट्रिकल के पीछे और राइट. So the correct answer is semilunar valve. When the semilunar valve opens, जो blood होता है, जो P oxygenated blood होता है, it moves from the right ventricle and moves it to pulmonary artery. Correct answer is option B. Coming to the next question, a particle is moved from point X to point Y under a force field. The work done depends only on the initial and final speed. Which of the following is correct? We have to know energy is always conserved. ठीक है, energy can neither be created, it cannot be destroyed. ठीक है, तो जब भी मैं वर्क डन करके किसी चीज का स्पीड बढ़ा रहा हूं, तो उसका काइनेटिक एनर्जी भी बढ़ेगा. Now the kinetic energy increasing does not mean कि नया करके kinetic energy create होगी. कहीं से तो आया होगा, आता कहां से? जो भी आप वर्क डन करते हो, when you are doing the work, whatever energy is getting transferred into the body, that particular energy is getting converted into kinetic energy. The correct answer is option B, which means to whatever work you are doing, it is equal to the change in the kinetic energy. Because kinetic energy separately create नहीं हो रहा है, it is getting done by the work that is being done. Next, with respect to electromagnetic waves, human eye is sensitive to what? Now try to understand. Light is an electromagnetic wave, which means light has both electric and magnetic waves. Our eye is sensitive to light. So if light is an electromagnetic wave, that means that our eye is sensitive to both electricity, both electric fields and magnetic fields. The correct answer is option A, both electric and magnetic fields. Now coming to these are different parts of the Constitution of India. So let us look at the next question. These are different constitutions of the parts of the Constitution of India. And they are asking which of the parts in category. So which are category? Let us have a look. Part relationship between the union and the states. Yes, it does. Part 9A and 9B. Does it talk about the municipalities and the cooperative societies? No, actually not. The problem here is that part 9A talks about panchayats and part 9B talks about municipalities. Cooperative societies is wrong, municipalities is also wrong. So two options are wrong. 3 is correctly matched, alright. And it says part 12 talks about finance, property, contracts, and suits. So 3 and 4 are correct. 1 and 2 are wrong. That is why the correctly matched pairs, only 2 of the pairs are correctly matched. Next question. The Constitution of India mentions that the Speaker is the power of adjourn both the houses simultaneously. He will adjourn the house, but he will not mention until when. He will not mention until when. Statement 2 on prorogation, it is only the Speaker who can summon the house. No, it is wrong. The Speaker does not summon the house. After prorogation, the house is summoned by the President of India. So 2 is wrong. The correct answer is option A, 1 only. Next question on money bill. Statement 1 says money bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Yes, it can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha has special power. Statement 2, Rajya Sabha has no power to reject the money bill. Can suggest amendments. Yes. Rajya Sabha कह सकता है कि आप money bill में ये change कर लो, बस suggest ही कर सकते. But reject करने का power उसका नहीं. Correct statements क्या है? 4 point for option C is correct. ये तो करंट अफेयर्स का है, ये क्लास में डिस्कस भी हुआ, ठीक है. इवन ये भी डिस्कस हुआ था कि कुछ तरह का फेमस खाना भी क्या होता है. Which of the following was recently designated with the UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy? The answer is Lucknow. Option. यहाँ पे एटमॉस्फेयर के अलग अलग लेयर्स दिए गए और पूछा गया है कि उनका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या है. ट्रोपोस्फेयर एब्जॉर्ब्स यूवी रेज. नो, यूवी रेज ट्रोपोस्फेयर एब्जॉर्ब नहीं करता. Stratosphere changes in weather and climate. Yes, correctly matched. Mesosphere reflects radio waves back to the earth. ये भी correctly matched. So 2 and 3 are correct. 1 is wrong. So how many pairs are correctly matched? 2 pairs are correct. Only the first one. Next question. The Gupta kings assumed imperial titles like बड़े-बड़े नाम जैसे कि महाराजा, धीराजा, परम भट्टराजा, परमेश्वरा, मतलब खुद को भगवान के समान मानते हैं. और ये करेक्ट है. Statement 2. The God kings also, the Gupta kings also connected themselves with the God. Yes. अगर वो ये सब नाम की परम देवता, परम भगवान नाम रख रहे हैं, मतलब ये खुद को भगवान मानते हैं. The correct option therefore is option C, 1 and 2. State and countries, no. उसमें बहुत सारे cultural restrictions है. ये one तो गलत है. One गलत मतलब A, C और D automatically गलत हो जाते हैं. That means the option B is our correct answer. Two only. Next, Bagor कहाँ पे है? Bagor is situated in Rajasthan. Correct answer is option A. Then, which of the following is a Neolithic site? The answer is option B. बाकी के sites Paleolithic या Mesolithic. Then, the next question is कि जो विभिन्न प्रकार है on किससे लिखा है? It is written by people, not individually. ठीक है? Individually का है that Nizamuddin organization लिखा है. Franco's birthday का ये हो नहीं सकता तो इसने आगे है. Franco's birthday क्यों लिखे? Answer इसका अलग-अलग में डिपेंड करेगा. Correct answer is even. अब ये लोग डिस्कस क्वेश्चन नेक्स्ट forest type and species. तो यहाँ पे जो आपको देखा रखा है, ठीक है, यहाँ पे जो आपको एक्चुअली में मैच द फॉलोइंग देके रखा है फॉरेस्ट टाइप का. ट्रॉपिकल मॉइस्ट फॉरेस्ट कैर इज स्पीशीज फाउंड, यस. लिटोरल एंड स्वैम्प फॉरेस्ट कैर इज रहा है वहां पे. सॉलिड वेजिटेबल इज अ फॉर्म and rosewood is found in the elephant grass. So all four are correctly matched. All four are correctly matched. The correct answer is 1, 2, 3, and 4 for A, B, C, and D. Coming to the next question here. That coming to the next question. Consider the following statements. Meteorological drought occurs when the annual rainfall is less than 75% yes. अगर rainfall 75% से ज़्यादा कम हो जाए पिछले साल से, उसको drought मानते हैं. Agricultural drought arouses also extreme moisture. अगर moisture stress हो जाए, moisture बहुत कम हो जाए atmosphere में, तो बारिश नहीं होती, drought होता है. Correct. Soil moisture drought is related to meteorological drought. Yes. अगर soil में moisture कम हो, उससे अगर सूखा पड़े, it is related to meteorological drought. ठीक है? Correct answer is option D, 1, 2, and 3. Coming to the next question. The next question is match the following. Tropical Forest Research Institute is in Jabalpur, age 3. Rainforest Research Institute is in Jorhat, alright. Himalayan Forest Research Institute is in Shimla, okay. Forest Research Center for Eco Rehabilitation is in Allahabad, Prayagraj. Correct answer is 3, 2, 4, 1. Then, very easy question. Which river in Northeast is known as Himalayan? The correct answer is option B, Brahmaputra. Then, the next question. Shivgila is a mountain pass. It is in which part of the Himalaya? It is present in the Satluj Belt. Correct answer is option C. Then, which of the national parks is not correctly matched? Ranthambore, Rajasthan में, Gir Gujarat में, Nandan Kalan Odisha में, but Kebul Lamja, it is not in Arunachal Pradesh. Correct answer is option D. It is incorrect. Then comes the next question. Then comes the next question that which of the following ports are correctly matched? Deen Port current port नहीं है. Jawaharlal Nehru Port भी landlocked port नहीं है. Paradise Port is also not a natural shallow water. So all of these questions are actually not there is a certain mistake in the question. Actually, the correct answer should be 3 only. Because POC port एक artificial deep sea harbor है. Actually, ना कोई correct option लग रहा है. But still, if we have to go with the most suitable option, the correct answer is option A, 1N. Because आप कुछ हद तक दीनदयाल को airport मान सकते. So correct answer is option 1N. Then the next question regarding smart village project. ये pilot project ही है. Why? Because अभी तक ये large scale पे हो नहीं रहा है, smaller scale पे test हो रहा है, it is being tested by the CSI, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, ठीक है? And just follow the principle of land to level. ठीक है? ये हम discuss in the marketing करेंगे. So correct answer is option C, both one. Then which of the following is not for the development of agriculture sector? The correct answer is national food security. It is the correct answer is PM Swami. PM Swami is actually dedicated to agricultural area नहीं है. The next question, which of the following is not correct about the visibility? The correct answer is option B. Pampan which is an art bridge. It is not an art bridge. Pampan which is not an art bridge. Next, we have the goals, the UN sustainability goals. Next, we have the UN sustainability goals. Goal 1, end poverty in goal forms. It's not correct. Goal 2, ensure healthy lives. That is also not correct. Goal 3, ensure poverty reduction. This is correct. Goal 4, achieve gender equality. That is also not correctly matched. So how many are correctly matched here? Option A, only one pair is correct. Then comes the table of precedence. That कभी भी अगर कोई ceremony होता है, इनमें से सबसे पहले किसको सम्मानित करने के लिए बुलाया? सबसे पहले वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को बुलाया जाएगा, ठीक है? उसके बाद गवर्नर को बुलाएंगे, ठीक है? सबसे पहले वाइस बुलाया जाएगा, उसके बाद प्राइम मिनिस्टर को, ठीक है? So first comes 1, then comes 3. So 1 and 3 is it? BNC is either BNC, ठीक है? So vice president or governor के बाद the next person who is called is the governor of the state. So 2 is third and the last is speaker of the Lok Sabha. So the correct answer is 1, 3, 2 and 4 is option B. Then the high courts and the places of the jurisdiction have been matched. Kerala High Court Lakshadweep के लिए है, it is incorrectly matched. Calcutta High Court अंडमान के लिए है, it is incorrectly matched. Madras High Court पुडुचेरी के लिए है, this is correctly matched. Guwahati High Court is for Manipur. Yes, this is correct. So 2 and 3 are correctly matched. So how many correct pairs are there? Option B, 2. And the last question, that as per Article 324, the CC shall not be removed from his office except in matter or on live ground as who. देखो CC का जो removal होता है, उसके removal का ground is the same as the judge of a high court. High court को हटाने का जो तरीका है, chief election commission को हटाने का तरीका है. Correct answer is option C. It is mentioned in Article 324 and it has been thoroughly discussed in the class. So these were some questions, as you can see, lot of common questions. Okay, not as much as last time maybe, but still a lot of common questions to make it score good enough. कि कटा इस बार कम ही जाएगा. अगर कटा कम जा रहा है, तो अगर आप थोड़े से क्वेश्चन कॉमन आपको मिल जाए and if you are able to answer that correctly, that puts you in a very good situation to get some sure shot marks and easily clear the cut. ठीक है? So that is it for today's session. I hope it was a helpful session. Exam जैसा भी गया हो, start preparing for the SSB. For any SSB guidance, you can contact us at abhigyanacademy, where we are training the students for SSB from retired and serving army officers. जिन्होंने खुद SSB clear किया है, ठीक है? I hope this session was helpful. Until the next session, until the next video, take care, goodbye and jai.